Hi traders, welcome to the Price Action Volume Trader channel and a new video for this week. This is going to be a quick one and is just going to address something that doesn't make a huge difference, but I get this asked often, and it is when I use my volume profiles, I will always use a 68% value area by default, but if you open any trading platform, most of the time, all of them are going to have 70% set as the default value area for the volume profile indicators, okay? So I'm just going to briefly explain why I use 68 instead of 70. That's what I teach in my trading courses and what I always use on TradingView and Sierra Chart, which are my main trading platforms for analysis and execution, okay? So first, let's talk about a distribution curve. This is where all the numbers are derived from. So here we have a definition. A distribution curve is a graphical representation of the frequency of data points in a data set, showing how values are spread out. The most common type is the bell curve or normal distribution, which illustrates that most data points cluster around the mean with fewer points at the extremes, okay? So basically, a distribution curve shows us how data points are distributed, much like when we have a volume profile. In this case, you can see I have a profile anchored from this swing low right here all the way to the present. Market is actually closed at the moment. But pretty much this entire profile covers this area. And so we get our profile with the high volume node areas, our areas of low volume node cuts, etc. And this is all the data points that are distributed there. And this is all organized in what's known as a bell curve, which if you see on the bottom right over here, this is a normal distribution, and you can see right here at the center at the zero value, this is what would be called the mean. So if we're looking at this in terms of volume profile, basically this middle line would be the equivalent of a point of control. Basically the point in the profile that is sticking out the most, that is what we would consider the mean. And you can see from the mean, if we go one standard deviation to the left and to the right, plus 1 minus 1, each one of these will be 34.13%. So overall, the one deviation each side from the mean would equal 68.26%, okay? So that is the reason I use 68 just to round it up, but that is why I use 68 instead of 70. Now, as I'm going to show you, I have an example here on TradingView and also from Sierra Chart, okay? The difference in values are going to be very, very little. It doesn't mean that that 2% difference is just going to throw off your analysis completely or anything. So let's go over the values. So here again, this is a fixed range volume profile. I use this tool right here, and I anchored it from here all the way to the end. If I double click it, you can see I have it set at ticks per row, 1 tick per row to get the maximum resolution, and value area 68%. If I was going to use number of rows, I would just put a big value like 2000, for example, and you can see that it pretty much looks exactly the same as if I just used 1 tick per row. Okay, but since we're talking about futures markets, I'll just leave it at 1 tick per row. That is the setting I have on Sierra Chart as well. Now, TradingView doesn't have at the moment true tick data transactions on all markets, especially like in the futures. So indicators like cumulative delta or footprint, I don't know how accurate those are, but I do know volume profiles are very accurate. They have their own way of calculating it, which you can research just by going into the frequently asked questions here on TradingView. But as we're going to see, we have the profile, and we're going to look at value area high, value area low, and point of control. And these are the lines I have here. Okay, so you can see the values that we have: 65.0550, 64.6875, 63.94. Okay, and this is set at 68%. If I bring this up to 70, which is the default on most trading platforms, you can actually see the only thing that shifted was the value area low. If I go back, you can see value area high, point of control stay the same, only value area low varies. And if I do the same thing here and just put, you can see the difference was literally 4 points. Between 68 and 70 is just the difference. From 63.94, it went down to 63.90 when I went into 70%. If I go back to 68, you can see that we're back again at 63.94 value area low. So you can see overall the difference is almost negligible. So it's not like everything is going to be wrong if you use 68 or 70. I like to use 68 again, just to be more exact with the percentages from a bell curve distribution. And if I bring up the Sierra chart screenshots, here I have, this is the exact same profile on Sierra chart. I anchored it from the very swing low here on August 2nd to the present right here. This is a 68% value area, and you can see value area high 65.8, low 64, 69.25, and the low here 63.95.25. Okay, so you can see how in between Sierra chart and TradingView, the difference in all these values is between like half a point to 3 points. Okay, value area low 63.94, and here it's 63.95.25. So very negligible differences. So TradingView does have very accurate volume profiles. And if I move into the 70, you can see the same thing on Sierra chart. I switched this to 70% value area. High and point of control stayed exactly the same, and value area low just shifted down from 95.25. It went down to 90.50. So it was a difference of about 4.5 points. Okay, so as you can see, just a very slight difference in the values. And even between Sierra chart and TradingView, again, very, very close values as well. Okay, so that's pretty much the explanation of why I like to use a 68% value area versus the standard 70% that comes by default on the trading platforms. Okay, if this video has been helpful, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. And you can check out in the description all my other playlist videos here, as well as links to my trading courses and all my Sierra chart templates as well. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon.